Welcome to Friday's Cluster Fun. Danny Cunningham planning on having some fun today with the Conduits of Trouble, Judd, Zulgad, Chip Scoggins. So yesterday's Twins game went into the 18th inning, Judd. By my count, it's the second game this year you've left early.
Yes.
You've left two games early, and one went to 18 innings, the other went to 17 innings. So you seem to have this down to a science.
Well, the first one I left because, guys, I was tired.
Yeah.
Because I was tuckered out. Yesterday, I was there. It was a noon start originally scheduled. Allegedly a noon start. So I got there around 9:30 or so for clubhouse access. Then it got rained on, and so it started at 1:05. So in this case, I left after, count them, 2 innings because I had to come to work. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't tired.
You have a reason, yeah. I
you missed 16 innings of baseball.
I know. I stayed for eight innings.
You got a full game.
I walked back to work, finished a long form feature that's running Sunday. Went down, got a workout, showered, and then caught the end of the game on the drive home.
And it was still on. It was still on. It was like the old Mackey and Judd show when Patrick would call and say, I flew home from Florida, I ate lunch, I took a nap, I got up, and you were still on the air.
I left work at about 4:15 yesterday. I thought about going to Target Field. I'm like, maybe I'll catch the end of the game, but it was like the 7th inning. I was like, by the time I get there, it could be over.
I'm not
Went over for 3 hours.
I know. I'm not one for those gimmicks like put a runner on second or third or whatever. But was it Garver with his first and second? I think it was like the 15th inning.
Yeah.
And he grounded into a double play. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, put a guy on third.
You know what's funny?
This thing is never ending.
So I left the Red Sox Twins marathon last week.
Yeah.
Did I leave in the 14th, I said?
13th, I think. Once your scorecard ran out, you were
13th.
done.
Yeah.
So I left, and I got home, and that was the one where I think C.J. Cron hit a rocket to first base, and it got caught. I'm like, this game is never going to end. And I tweeted the same thing, and I didn't tweet as an advocate for it, but I said, does this lend some credence? And I got, no, you can't do that in base. I'm like, yeah, but I want the game to end.
Yeah, you just want it to end.
I think after 12 or 13 innings, you should have to put a position player on the mound.
That would be...
I wonder.
Make C.J. Cron pitch in the 14th.
At some point in time yesterday, I thought they might have to.
Yeah.
Well, it's that or they have to dip into the next day's starter.
Yeah.
Because you run out of bullpen arms.
Yeah, and that's... putting Gibson back out there, and they were... At that point, you're just scrambling. I'm sure they were thinking, okay, who's our emergency reliever here?
I wonder who it would be. What position player would you most want to see on the mound?
I thought they said Cron, right? Somebody had it in their
Cron,
notes.
Well, Cron might be. Now, Cron is there. I believe Cron is there, now third, but ordinarily, if Astia's healthy, fourth catcher as well.
Yeah.
Because Cron can catch in a pinch.
I thought someone tweeted that Rocco said Cron would have been the first position guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'd love to see. I know he's not healthy, but I'd love to see Astadio on the mound. I think
put Sano up there.
He's got an arm. I don't think he's a good baseball player, but he can throw hard. He can't hit. He's not a great fielder, but he's got a really good arm.
Do? If you put Sano on the mound, he would give up a home run really quickly because he throws hard, and it would just be fastball straight, and that ball would just get hit, and that would be the end.
It would be fun. I know he's hurt, so he can Buxton.
Yeah, Buxton can throw hard, too.
He has a cannon, too.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if he ever pitched as a kid or if he always
I'm sure he
outfield.
did at some point as a kid.
That'd be fun to see him.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. It would be really interesting to see some of those guys on the mound. I think Astadio might be my favorite just because of he's got
he can do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like the catch running into the wall the other night.
Who was the guy?
Once you strain an oblique,
who was the guy?
Have an oblique.
Who was the guy? Was it last year or 2 years ago that always had to come in and pitch and relief because they were so bad? The position player.
Oh yeah.
Was it Chris Jimenez?
Jimenez. Jimenez. So I was talking to Jimenez.
Yes.
And he said, he was one of those, he got put out there, and he threw the pitch, and he turned around, because it always shows what it was, and it said knuckleball. He's like, oh, boy.
That was fastball. That was a knuckleball.
That's got to be one of the worst feelings when it's because it's like programmed to pick up what type of pitch it was based on the velocity, and when you're only reaching knuckleball speeds, it's not going to end well for you on the mound.
And you know what? He was asked to do a job,
and he did
the job. That's all you can.
He got in like 7 times, right?
Yeah, and that was not just with the Twins because he was someone that bounced around a ton throughout his career.
Yeah.
He was a journeyman catcher. Like he pitched for a bunch of teams. He would be the emergency pitcher, and it was great. He embraced the role. I love to see it.
That's awesome.
Hey, what's your basketball team going to do in the coming days?
That's where we were going to go next. I think they're going to be aggressive. Free agency starts Sunday at 5:01 Central Time.
My hockey team's not going to be, by the way.
You don't think your hockey team's doing much? Does
their
free agency start Sunday or Monday?
11 a.m. Monday morning.
Monday morning, right? Yeah.
So noon Eastern on Monday. But I don't think there's going to be. I think they might sign this guy who was with Flyers last year and got traded to Nashville.
Who?
Wayne Simmons.
Oh, I know the name.
Big winger.
Yeah.
I think they might try and sign him.
Of course.
They like Pavelski, but if you're Joe Pavelski, you ain't signing him.
But they have money, right?
Have-
unlike the Wolves, who have no
but
money.
But they don't have an attractive situation where teams can go to Joe Pavelski and be like, hey, dude, come here and win a cup. What's the Wild going to say? Come here and play with your friends. It's not midget hockey.
That's the thing.
No, seriously, play with your friends.
Yeah.
Let's have a pizza party.
That's right.
That's what the Wolves are trying to do with D'Angelo Russell, karl-Anthony Towns.
But that might be a winning formula.
And the Wolves, I think, have more creativity than the Wild.
Sure.
In terms of how
they're
going to go about things. And they're going to need it because of the money situation.
You mean that the fact that the Wolves have an analytics department is important?
Yeah.
Our analytics department is necessary. It's
Is
only
that necessary?
2019.
Yeah. It's money's always going to be the number one thing in free agency, right?
Yes.
But you're right. I think probably the next thing is role, but where the team is, their position, and as strange as it sounds, I think Towns is out there really selling this new regime and what's changed. As bad as that organization has been, you wonder if a regime change and then having Towns being so on board with. Remember, think about all the change that he's seen and turmoil he has seen in his career.
Think about how big of a difference him doing this summer is compared to what the situation between he and the Wolves was last summer.
Well, I said it, and I don't know if you noticed it too, Danny. I think you were there too, Judd, when at Ryan's introductory press conference when he gave him the job. I don't think I've seen Towns that excited in a long time. Just like he was already on board. Like he's already saying, we're doing this and we're going to play different. And so whatever Gerson has said to him or the message he's delivered, Towns has totally bought into.
Well, and even prior to when they hired Rosas, back after they beat the Warriors in March, I don't know if either you two were at that game when they won that game at the Target Center in overtime. Towns gave his full support, like they should hire Ryan as the full-time head coach. So he was on board with that even before Rosas got there. So it does seem like he's all for all the things that have happened with this franchise.
You still wonder, like, if we step back and look at it from another perspective, what's the perspective of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball?
Well, probably not good among a lot of superstar players.
Yep.
But it just takes one guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing with basketball, too. It doesn't take a ton here. And I do think, though, that this all goes back to, and this to me is the one sport where it's an absolute necessity, why you keep Towns as happy as possible.
Sure.
And you might hire a coach and be like, I don't know if he works, but if my megastar player is out there saying, hire that coach, I'm going to listen probably.
And it's a tricky thing because you don't want players picking coaches and GMs and all that because it's just, that's just not what you want to get into. But based on who they interviewed, they were going to be rolling the dice, taking a gamble on one of these guys. So if you're going to do that, then just stick with the guy that's the superstar.
It's not like they were bringing Phil Jackson.
Exactly.
No, but they were very careful, I think, not to bring in big names with experience.
Or established coaches.
Yes.
Because then it'd be like, okay, now it was the deck was stacked.
This was stacked on purpose, but it's the one sport where I don't disagree with. If Kat comes to me and says, Ryan's my guy, I'm saying, okay.
And part of that about the coaching search is, last time they did that, they brought in a big name with experience, and it went about as poorly as possible. So I understand them wanting.
He didn't go to the lasagna dinner. Like, you don't go to. I love lasagna.
The other part of that too is look who they surrounded Ryan with on his staff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean
Gerson's. This to me is Ryan is playing the role of Rocco Baldelli. It's the same exact thing, right? It's Falvey and Levine go out and they insulate this thing and they give Wes Johnson. I don't think Rocco showed up and is like, you know what we should do? Hire a college pitching coach. These guys but the Wolves and Twins are on identical paths as far as the philosophical viewpoint of how you get to where you're trying to go is, and for traditional sports fans. It's a world of difference.
So Danny, what's the percentage that the Wolves can pull this off and get Russell?
I think it's a toss-up. I think it's 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, I think that there's an avenue there. It's going to take some interesting things timing-wise, like in terms of Kyrie committing to the Nets and depending on what
the dominoes have to fall right.
Yes, the dominoes
so
kind of have to fall.
Kyrie going to the Lakers would actually hurt the pursuit.
It would probably end it because then Brooklyn would just keep D'Angelo Russell. They have his restricted rights, so they can match any offer he gets elsewhere.
But Kyrie goes there.
Kyrie going to the Nets is the thing that must happen for this to really
But then you also have to trade somebody.
Yes,
you have to trade a big contract to make it work.
Probably Jeff Teague would be my guess. Jeff Teague would be the one to go, and then you would have to send out.
Not the answer he was looking for.
Man, if this guy
Jeff Teague's just so much easier to move.
Of course.
Like that's why Jeff Teague's going to be the one.
If Gerson wants the damn parade, he's got to move 22.
Sure, but
I'll give him the parade.
It's going to
take. I'll pay for it.
Really?
It's going to go down 94. We're closing down 94.
Closing down 94.
You trade Wiggins' contract.
I thought you were just going to. I thought it was just going to come down Berry Street from the Metro Transit Green Line stop to our parking lot. That's the parade in your budget.
And move Wiggins, it's going down 94, and it's going to end in front of the X. And we're all going to say, hire an analytics department, Wild. Hire an analytics. See what happens.
We'll see what happens on Sunday. We'll see what happens on Monday for Judd. This has been Cluster Fun. We'll talk to you next week.